So I've talked a lot about how the DJI Osmo Nano rivals the quality of much more expensive setups. So let's actually put that to the test. So right now I'm recording with the DJI Osmo Nano, and I'm also recording with my Sony a7C II with the Tamron 17 to 28 millimeter f2.8 lens. The Sony and the Tamron lens combo comes in at over $3,000 plus tax, and the Nano is only $400. How close can the Nano actually come in terms of image quality and features and stuff to the Sony in a bunch of different scenarios? Let's find out, y'all.
So throughout this video, we're going to see the Nano on the left and then the a7C II on the right. I shot everything using D-Log-M on the Nano and S-Log3 on the a7C II, and then I applied a quick color grade in post. Both of these shots look really good and pretty similar, to be honest, where the Sony looks a little sharper and there's definitely more dynamic range you can see in the sky. But the Nano, I don't know, there's something about it where I just keep looking at it more than the Sony, even though it doesn't have as much detail.
So the reason I chose this particular Tamron lens is because it's about the same focal length-ish, like the width that you see in the DJI Osmo Nano. So both of these lenses will give you like this ultra wide angle view. The benefit of the Tamron lens, of course, is it has a fixed aperture of f2.8, so you can get like a little bit of background blur, you know, especially if I get a lot closer to the cameras, you'll see stuff starts to blur out in the background and stuff. So in the Nano, there's not really background blur at all. Everything's going to be in focus.
But here's where things get kind of interesting, like when the subject is a little bit further away from the camera and there's not a whole lot of depth of field going on in either, all of a sudden the cameras look almost identical, although the Nano is definitely not as sharp and doesn't have as much dynamic range and it's like a little bit grainy. It still looks really fantastic and almost the same as the Sony. And I think the same thing kind of goes for this shot as well, where you can see the Sony is just a little bit sharper and has a little more dynamic range, like in the red bricks, and in the sky in the top right you can see a little more definition in the blues. But overall, I mean, the Nano is definitely holding up. I mean, it looks really good as well.
Okay, this is a bright sunlight test. I'm being blinded right now, officially. So I have the Sony a7C set to aperture priority, f2.8, wide open in bright sunlight because I'm dumb. The Osmo Nano is shooting in its automatic D-Log-M settings. So yeah, I'm really curious, like outdoors, if these actually look pretty similar or if there's like a pretty big difference between the two of them. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. All right, let's see how both of these cameras handle a backlit scene. You see the sun is kind of peeping in and out behind my head. If I turn around a little bit, hopefully don't drop my camera. Now we got the sun facing me, so get a slightly different situation here. Yeah, how are these comparing? Which one do y'all like better?
So in this shot, the Sony looks really good. We have a nice amount of dynamic range and stuff. But check out the Nano. I mean, it looks almost the same, maybe losing a little bit of the blues, but I think we can get some of those back in post. And when you compare them side by side, they look almost identical. Like the colors look great, the motion blur looks really natural in both, and yeah, they both look awesome to me.
I thought this would be a cute idea, but this is actually kind of precarious. Ben, don't fall on your ass right now. These little tables are deceivingly unstable.
Can I do it?
I'm just gonna do it.
And somehow I can sense that you were just dying to see me eat something. So here I am eating a tuna wrap. The Sony definitely looks a little better to me because it has that nice background blur. But look at the Nano. I mean, you can actually see a lot of the details in the background because everything is in focus. So as a creator, you kind of make these decisions like, do you prefer the background blur or do you want everything to be in focus like in the Nano?
So here's a test shooting in my studio where I'm using natural light just coming through a window diffused through a curtain. Can you see a difference? You probably can because the Sony has the f2.8 aperture constantly, which is nice and big, nice and bright. So you'll see a little bit of background blur over here and you'll see some autofocus on my face. The Osmo Nano just doesn't do autofocus really because there's nothing to focus on besides like everything because it's so ultra wide. I don't know, I'm curious to see these side by side to see like which one I think looks better, and let me know in the comments which one you are drawn to. Here's a common scenario that I shoot in, which is right in my car with broad daylight shooting over me like a Rainbow of darkness. What am I talking about? I don't know. So one thing I love about the Nano is the ability to like plop it down anywhere. Of course you could do that with the Sony, but it's bigger and it requires a tripod or something if you don't want to handhold it. But you'll probably see that the image quality is going to be a lot better in the A7C II because I'm much closer to the camera. You're going to see more depth of field behind me, where in the Osmo Nano, there's no depth of field basically unless something's like very close to the lens. So, you know, there's some trade-offs with both of these cameras. I kind of see it as each camera is its own tool for specific purposes. If I want better quality and a more like cinematic kind of feel with like depth of field and stuff, of course I would reach for the Sony. But the Osmo Nano, I mean, you just can't beat the simplicity of this camera. Press record, get your clip, and then throw it in your pocket. You can't throw the Sony a7C in your pocket, especially when you have a big hunker of a lens like this. Cute dog.
Thank you. She thinks so.
She knows so. I can tell. She's got confidence.
She wears it well.
She does. One of the benefits that I love about the Nano too is because it's in the DJI ecosystem. I'm using the wireless mic with it now, which is how I'm recording this audio. And I love that I can just walk around, move around and stuff like that, and I'll still get really clean audio through the DJI Mic Mini. But with the Sony, you can do the same thing, but you do need like a little dongle thing. It's another step, it's another bit of friction that you just have to deal with. Then you have to monitor like audio levels, and it just becomes a little complicated. It's not impossible, but you got to think about it more. And apparently I'm lazy and just like don't like to think. But the Nano is just like so much easier to use overall. And maybe, these freaking insects. And maybe there are definite, you know, image quality enhancements you can get from the Sony a7C or a bigger camera, but I love the Nano's convenience and the ease of use. One way that I think the Nano is definitely going to beat the Sony a7C is with electronic stabilization, which is weird because the Sony has optical stabilization. It has a physical stabilizer inside of the camera. But the Nano actually does a better job, in my opinion, of electronic stabilization over optical stabilization. When it comes to just like running and funning, you know, with your camera, whipping it out and pressing record, oh my God, I'm so hot and there are insects all over me. It's actually kind of nice that the Nano is super freaking stable, especially if you're in bright light like this outdoors. The Sony's gonna look better, you know, overall, but it's gonna be a little more jerky because the in-body image stabilization just isn't as good as the Nano's electronic image stabilization. I think this heat is starting to get to my head, y'all. I think I'm starting to feel a little like I need to sit down or throw up.
So here's another shot where I swear they look almost identical again because the subject is pretty far back from the camera, but you can see there's really good dynamic range in both, where I definitely get more detail in the Sony, but there's something about the Nano footage that looks more like a vibe. Like, it's not so clinically clean and it has more noise, but I don't know, it kind of adds character to the footage, which I really enjoy.
When it comes to photography though, the Sony definitely wins like by a long shot. I definitely don't reach for the Osmo Nano to take photos pretty much ever. I mean, it takes photos, but they're not the best photos in the world. The Sony, of course, has a huge advantage because you can take the lens off and then put on a specific lens for a specific purpose. The Nano is like a dedicated video camera for me. It's not a photography camera whatsoever. When it comes to focus though and sharpness, sometimes I actually prefer the Nano because everything is in focus and I don't have to worry about things going out of focus. And also it's nice to see everything, you know, nice and crisp behind you when you're focusing on a memory or you're in a specific location and you actually want to see all the details around you. So depth of field is good, but it's not always necessary to tell a story or to capture things accurately around you. In fact, sometimes I prefer no depth of field so I can actually see everything in focus. So after looking at all of these comparisons, what do I think? The Sony definitely has better image quality and more features, but the Nano also has really good image quality too that honestly looks comparable to the Sony, especially if you're thinking about how most people are going to watch these videos on a smartphone anyway. You'll see the biggest difference on the Sony when you start doing things like adding depth of field or changing the lens out for a different kind of effect. With the Nano, it's more about portability, stealthiness. The camera kind kind of disappearing in a good way. And the Nano to me represents frictionless creating because it's just so simple to whip this thing out, press record, throw it in your pocket. The Sony is much more of a big clunker, even though it's pretty compact overall, but it's not pocketable, so you have to carry some kind of bag and maybe a tripod with you. Size does make a difference. Even though the image quality is not as good as the Sony with the Nano, I still tend to carry this one with me every single day. The Sony, I take it with me when I'm doing a more like specialized kind of project where I need better image quality or a specific kind of visual effect that I just can't get with the Nano. So my scientific conclusion is both cameras are amazing for different purposes. They both have pros and cons. Which one is better? Honestly, they're both really good. And if you watched all the way to the end of this video, leave a bat emoji in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Smash all the buttons down below. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, and I will see you in the next video. When I sat down to film this shot, by the way, it was completely silent, and now there's a couple people near me having a conversation, and there's a ton of birds over here, grackles I think, just making all this noise. Can you hear that? Hashtag YouTube life.